My name is Evanne. It rhymes. I live in Rancho Mirage, and I am 2.5 miles from my mother, who is 101, and she is the object of my caregiving. Well, it's been gradual over the last 3 to 4 years, maybe. Up until then, she was remarkably independent. The last 2 years in particular, she has slowed down a lot. I've become her primary caregiver, I would say, by default. I am her daughter. I do have 2 older brothers, but I carry 95% of the load, maybe more. I spend an average of a few hours a day, and that's a combination of being there physically, doing things for her. It could be anything from opening bottles and jars for her, to straightening up, to meals, to taking care of things like the television device that she's hit the wrong button and she doesn't know how to get back to get the TV to work, maintenance, repairs, coordinating with the 3 caregivers that I have for her, managing that, overseeing their schedules, giving them instructions. I also spend a lot of time when I'm not necessarily there, talking to the different services that are provided, getting them information that they need, continuing education for myself to make me a better caregiver for her, and in general, being her advocate, because she can't advocate for herself. She has high blood pressure, and she has some kidney disease, and she's old. Her hearing is shot, even with hearing aids. Her comprehension is devolving more quickly now, and physically, she now has to rely more on a walker or a wheelchair. Diagnosis, like a doctor's diagnosis, would be a combination of the things that I just mentioned. My time is no longer my time in a way that it was. I'm theoretically retired or partly retired. I've had to turn down job opportunities. I would like to be working part-time, and financially it would really be helpful. But I find that I have to retool my schedule on a pretty regular basis, because I just don't know from day to day what might be coming up that requires giving her or any of her services my attention. So that also impacts just activities that have been scheduled that I have to miss. Maybe I paid a non-refundable fee to attend something, and well, that's the way it goes. I have applied for part-time positions, but again, unless it's really a flexible schedule, I can't really do it. Managing everything in her life, paying the bills, taking care of the mail, getting the rent done, addressing any issues, the doctors, her emotions, and being her daughter and being her only daughter. I think sometimes it's emotionally very challenging. And anybody that's been a caregiver, I think, can identify with this, as my mother is losing more control over her life. She's frustrated and angry, and it's hardest on the ones that are closest to her, and that would be me. Well, my mom's still here. There's not many people that can say that they still have a surviving parent at 101 years old, and a surviving parent that is still able to live in place with all the help that I have. As I mentioned previously, I do have 2 older brothers. The assistance that I get, whether it's physical assistance, meaning coming to visit my mom, spend time with her, it's minimal. Financial assistance is minimal. And one brother lives out of state. And aside from calling her daily, that's it. Friends, she has a couple of neighbors that will come by and spend time with her. I never know, when that's going to be, and I'm grateful for whatever it is. Outside of that, it's me and my husband, to the extent that he's able to be there, but he wouldn't be there so much to sit there and visit with her. There's a lot of agencies involved, so forgive me if my answer doesn't correspond to the right agency. I think that's the one where I'm actually considered to be the client, and from time to time, I am able to receive a few hours for a few weeks of caregivers through them. It's complicated and it's less than ideal, but it's also better than not having anything. They do also provide me with support in terms of they have online workshops for caregivers to help us learn how to manage being a caregiver, emotional things that come up, recommended ways to interact with our loved ones, sharing experience so we don't feel like we're the only ones. Through MediCal, my mother gets Cal Fresh, which is a food program. It's like a credit card. It's populated automatically, electronically every month, and that can be used to go grocery shopping. It was recently reduced by almost 50% to $94 a month. Right now, that doesn't go very far. She does also receive meals through, I think it's Meals on Wheels. That's 1 meal a day. And on weekends, because they don't deliver on weekends, I think on Fridays they will deliver something cold that's put in the refrigerator. Also through MediCal, I believe it's through MediCal that I am able to get the caregivers that I have for her. It's through IHSS, but I believe that she's qualified because she's on MediCal, as distinguished from Medicare. Well, quite simply, without it, I fear that my mother would have to go into an assisted living facility, and it would have to be a facility that accepts MediCal. I don't mean that. Her Medicare, her Social Security monthly payment, which is not a whole lot, as total payment. I don't think she would thrive in that environment. But with MediCal, so far, unless our federal government, unless this budget that is up for a vote soon, if that budget slashes MediCal benefits, as is looking like is a distinct possibility, and my mother's caregiver services that she has right now are either cut back or eliminated, my guess, we're all looking at a crystal ball, but my guess is that it would similarly impact the facilities that are available, and those that rely on receiving MediCal benefits could very well close. So what that would look like, I shun to think. We're not really set up for my mom to live with us, and I'm not prepared physically or emotionally or financially to take the hit. I think my mother would decline very rapidly. And when I talk about my mother specifically, I know I am also speaking for so many people that are in a similar situation to my mother, but they're not fortunate enough to have someone like me to be their voice. It is an incredibly challenging undertaking on multiple levels, financially, emotionally, physically, and that they should try it themselves to understand the need to continue, for the government to continue to provide the support that we currently have. If they were a caregiver themselves, they would understand. So for now, if they have not been a caregiver, then step back and imagine it and put yourself in the shoes of being a caregiver and without the support of these various agencies, and assume that you are not in the top 1 or 2% and money is no object to just hire private everything. They also need to understand that this is not a giveaway. My mother and my dad, they have paid into this system for many decades. And now it's time to be able to be taken care of, like as other countries do with their elderly. And not just the elderly, but those that have disabilities and need assistance.